Righty guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are up in the shed. We're doing a service on the old Patrol. Samson decided he wants to show his face. So yeah, as I said, we're doing a service on the old Patrol. This will be the first time I'd ever done a service on the old girl since we bought it. We've done probably about 7,000 kilometres, so it is overdue. So we got quality filters from Fleet Guard. These guys, quality. Bit different to your Ryko stuff. These guys specifically do filters for big trucks, other stuff as well. It's either Fleet Guard, Donaldson, or Secura are the three brands that I'll use when it comes to filters. It's very important to use a quality filter, not a cheap Chinese imitation one. So make sure you're getting out there and finding a really good supplier with filters. Local shop. I personally like to go, if you're in the Mackay area, to the guys at Filter Wash in Mackay. They supply you with little stickers as well, as you can see here, like little service stickers. Everything you need for your servicing for all your vehicles. The oil that we've chosen to go with is ProLube. It's a mineral oil. It's a HVX Turbo 1550. So the recommended specification oil for these vehicles is a 1540. However, due to being in the North Queensland climate, hot conditions, I've gone for that little bit of a heavier weight, for the simple fact that it does heat up, it does thin out, so it's a bit hotter climate than what the guys sort of experience down south. The other thing is I like to use heavy duty stabiliser. And the guys, I like this one, or Maury's. Maury's is actually a really good brand that I tend to use as well. You can put this in your gearboxes, transfer case, diffs, everything, engine, and I believe it's like a 20% ratio. 10 litres is 2 litres, so put in 2 litres of this stuff into your engine based off 10 litres. Yes, that's correct. So, I mean, for a service for all of your gearboxes, transfer case, everything as well, you're probably going through 2 bottles of these, because they're an American thing, and they're so 1 gallon. So I'm not really sure how that sort of equates to the Australian terms of working with litres, but I know that I've probably got to use about half of that bottle to go into my engine in the car. But I believe the Patrol, when I was doing research on it yesterday, is about 8 point something litres compared to the Cruiser. So the Cruiser used to take 11.2 or 11.6 or something like that. Anyway, so I'd never get 2 services out of one 20-litre drum, which really drove me mad. So I'd always have to buy 2 20-litre drums to service one vehicle twice. Or you get 3 services out of 2 drums. But yeah, so ProLube. None of this stuff is sponsored, by the way. This is all stuff that we've paid for ourselves. So I just choose to use this because it's a reliable Australian-made brand, which is not in the, you don't really get it from the bigger shops like your Autobahn and other stuff like that. You've really got to go specifically to a filter shop who deal with truck filters and other stuff. So these guys are Australian company, Australian made, and I've always used them. They're such a good quality product. They always keep my engine clean. It's always seem to look after it, so I'm not going to change. I'm just going to keep sticking with these guys. really happy with the performance of their oil. So, righto guys, we'll get stuck in. For those of you that don't know, the Patrol over the Cruiser uses two oil filters that go on the side of the engine block. Whereas the Cruiser only sort of runs one. This is for the 45, so it's a canister, sort of style. I do have one down here for 75, and the 75 just runs a single filter on the side of it. Oh, that's the fuel, don't mind me. Sorry, turns out I don't have an oil filter for the Cruiser. Oh, that's okay. The difference between the 75 fuel filter and the Patrol fuel filter isn't much. Just the thread's a little bit different. You can't you can't use one to the other, unfortunately. It's just a slightly bigger, as you can see here, this is the Patrol one, so it's got a slightly bigger O-ring and a bigger diameter, small, well, they're probably the same, they look the same. Anyway, it's got a bigger O-ring, and you can see they're a little bit different. So for the Patrol, you're looking at the FF5307 for the Fleet Guard, and then for the Cruiser, FF5159 for the Cruiser. That's a 1 HDT motor for the Cruiser, and we've got a TD42 in the Patrol. So yeah, we'll get stuck into the actual service, and yeah, we'll see what's different. See how much different it turns out to be. Now all we're doing here is we're just idling the car up, bringing it up to temperature to get the oil to be running through the motor. What it does, it heats the car up. Try and find it. Heats the car up so that way you can get all the oil out. Comes out a bit better. Gets a bit thinner, thins the oil, and as it heats up. So, we're under the car. What you'll need for this process is probably a socket to undo your bung, catch can, your oil catcher, your drain, and it's always good to have a bit of rag. So, a bit of rag on a roll is what we've chosen. Jesus, it's a bit of a pain under it. It's different to the old Cruiser. So just crack your bung. This is going to come out over here somewhere. Just try and stay out of the way of the oil flow. Like that. As you can see, that's it was a little bit warm, that oil, which is good, it's what you want. We did spill a little bit. You can see there. Face it back this way. Let all that oil drain out. I'm hoping it's less than 10 litres, because if it's more than 10 litres, we're in a little bit of trouble because it'll overflow our bucket. We have had an oil leak, so the guys at Viking Mechanical have changed out the rear main seal, machined the flywheel, and have replaced it with a new heavy duty clutch. So it's starting to drop off a little bit there now, so we should be pretty good. Just grab that oil bung. I'm gonna put that bung back in, I think, because it's gonna be too hard for us to empty it all out again. So grab our rag. Yeah. The good thing about that is it come out in good condition. It's not overly bad. It's black, but it's diesel oil. I suppose it doesn't matter how long you keep it in there, it always tends to go black, how clean your engine is. So we'll drain this into our drain. Getting filters off your car, depending on who put them on, can be a real nightmare. So I'm hoping that these here just, oh yeah, look at that. They're not bound up. That's one off, no, one undone, loosened. Worst thing about wearing a watch while you're doing this stuff is your arms don't fit in anywhere. So, luckily for us, we've got that pan in underneath there, and it's catching all our excess oil coming out of the filter. So that was relatively easy for their positioning. I'm very surprised that was that easy to get off, to be honest. So far it's a lot easier than the Cruiser as well, because like even the way that they sit at 90 degrees to the block, to the side of your motor, and the Cruiser one actually sits on a bit of an angle that way, so it's a bit of a pain when you pull it off. All the oil falls out of it, so having it this way, it's not so bad. You can almost turn it straight away and catch most of the oil that comes out of it. Yeah, not too bad. I've got two different filters on here, so I'm thinking the servicing when we did this, either just did it with whatever they had, or whether this guy's done it himself from when we purchased the vehicle. I'm not sure, but you can see here we've got this filter here is an X filter, oil filter. And this one here is a Secura oil filter. So, all in all, not bad. I'm glad that they're actually decent quality filters. And see you there. With the new ones going on, I opted, because it's my first time servicing the TD, I wasn't sure how much room I had down there, so I went with just the shorter filter for this first service. But in future, they do a shorter length filter and they do a longer filter as well. So in future, I'll probably end up just running a longer filter all the time. You know, better to have that little bit extra oil room, to be a little bit more filter room, I guess, to keep everything clean in your engine bay. So we've got fleet guard. All we do here is we get a little bit of oil, new oil, and we just rub it around the ring. Sits up there nice and flush, lubricates it. Do the same to the other one. Tell Shelley does the washing. She's a gem. Put that one in the pocket. Throw that one in the bin. Again. Okay. Leave him up. Now, the misconception about when people put the filters back on when they tighten them up. You want to make sure that you're not over tightening them, because you'll never get them off again. You'll get them off, but they can become really difficult to take off again. Just do that up as tight as I can with my hand, and that's it. I'm not doing it up any tighter. When it comes time to take these off again, I don't have to pierce them with a screwdriver or do anything to try and remove it again. That's so I'm discovering that these here are not the same filter. They are two different filters. So what we're going to do is, because I don't have another one, I'm going to clean this one and I'm going to put it back on. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this with diesel and then put it back on. And the shop's open back up again on Monday as well. I'll replace this filter straight away. So we've now learnt something together. The difference between oil filters. And servicing the TD42. Righto. Just for everyone's education purposes, I'll get the manual out and I'll have a look at the manual and how much oil we need to put into this motor. As you can see, we've got our Haynes repair manual. This here is for GU Y61 1998 to 2014, so it's got the ZD30, it's got the TD42, it's got the TD42 Ti. So just go through and have a bit of a look at what we need. So we'll go to our table of contents. So from everything that I've read, I couldn't find anything in the actual manual, which is weird. Anyway, it's probably in there, I just can't find it right now. Everything that I've read on the online forums is most of them are saying around 11 litres. So what I'll do is I'll run our 2 litres, 2.1, 2.2 litres of this stuff into the engine first, and then I'll put the oil in over the top, and then I'll dipstick it, see how it goes. This stuff here is kind of like a so it's a stabiliser. What it actually does, like if you have a look in the gears, is this stuff here is kind of like honey in your motor, and it prevents cold starts. When you use it, everything stays lubricated in your motor. So whereas the engine oil will drain all the way down in your motor and sit in the bottom of the sump, this stuff here will keep everything lubricated. So I tend to it's always good to run something like this, in my opinion. What your opinion is might be a little bit different, but I've always believed in you're better off to have lubrication around something to prevent the wear rather than have nothing there and you get that startup wear that happens whenever you start your motor, because it's got no lubrication around it until that oil gets pushed around through your oil pump, through your motor. So my opinion, you don't have to take my opinion however you like, but to me personally, I like to run a stabiliser. So this is 5 litres. So what we do is come over here and we fill our stabiliser up to probably just a little bit above 2 litres, so you get that bit of stuff that just stays in the bottom all the time. So as you can see here, it does say on it stops dry starts. I've seen this stuff in a clear gear container. It really opened my eyes up to how they actually work. So when you use regular oil and you've got the gears like meshing with each other, and it was just like a little dial that you'd wind, and it'd have regular oil in one side and then it'd have this stuff here in the other side with oil as well. And when you wound them both, you found that it took a little while for the gears to pick up the oil in the gear set. And then for this stuff, you could wind it and you could just see straight away that it was like honey. It had stuck to it, and it would really work really well for gearing as well. So I think I'll definitely be running stuff like this, whether it's this one or Maury's, in my transfer case differentials and everything that way. Gear sets, I just believe that it actually works. So I've seen it. So all right. Get this in our motor, and once again guys, like I said, I'm not sponsored by anyone this way. I'm just telling you my opinion of what I think is the best for our motor. So we've got that. In the motor. So we know we have 7 litres in the motor, which gives us a remainder we're working off 11 litres. Four. So we'll go to 3 litres here now. So I always like to run a litre less than what's actually recommended. So we've got 3 litres in here, and I'll put 2 litres in, and then I'll wait for it for a little bit, and then I'll check it again. Some guys are saying that engine will take 12 litres. Other guys are saying that they'll take 10 litres, and then other guys are saying they'll take 11 litres. So if we work off a base of 10, and we'll just keep topping it up as we sort of need it, just to check so we're not overfilling. Last thing you want to do is overfill this thing, cause too much pressure in your motor. Yeah, it's never a good thing to overfill. We'll just give that a little bit, ready for that to drain down. You know, you're probably not going to get a proper accurate reading because of that. The stabilizer will stay in the engine a fair bit. It won't run all the way to the bottom. It's probably not a bad thing to just keep that a little bit short filled. Leave it overnight and then check it again first thing in the morning, or leave it for a few hours and then check it again. And if you need to add just that little bit more oil, that's fine. Better off just to run it that little bit below full than overfill it. Feed it down there. Pull it out. And here we go. So as you can see, it's coming up to the point where it's just a little bit over full. We'll just leave that for a little bit and just let it all warming. But in saying that, I haven't run it up and had oil run into the filters yet. So what we'll do is we'll get the cap back on here. Warm this up a little bit. We'll get the cap back on and we'll give it a run up and check the oil again after we run it for a little bit. Get the oil running around. There's not really much left in here to leak. So when you don't do that, don't do what I do. Just the same filter. Make sure you change out this O-ring on the bottom. My hand's already covered in fuel, so we'll just put that O-ring back. Probably should put it in the filter and not actually on here, but put it there. Do it back up. And you're just going to pump it up until it gets full. Really, you can pre-fill it and then put it on, so you're not pumping this for 10 minutes.
One eternity later.
So that is how not to change the fuel filter. Don't do it the way I did it. If I was to do it again, I'd make sure I pull the little cable apart that runs into the bottom of the sensor, to pull that apart, and then undo the bung on the bottom, and then undo your filter, and then put your bottom bung back in. Make sure you catch that fuel so it's not running all over your shop floor, shed floor, whatever it is. Put the bung back in your new filter with your new O-ring. Fill your put the bung back in the bottom. Don't connect up your plug until after you're finished. Put your filter back in, or fill your filter with diesel, and then put your filter back in, and then prime it, and then connect your plug back up, and you can start. Shouldn't be that hard of a process, but I just made it look really difficult. Alright, so now that that is done, you can start the car, let it run for a bit, and then keep pumping the fuel, making sure that primer is staying pumped up. Alright, yeah, we'll have a look. First things first though, we'll just check our oil once again, see how we're doing here now, oil level wise. Yeah, so it is just under the full mark since we ran it up. Yep, so as you can see there on the dipstick, so this end's empty, this end's full, it's just under the full mark. So what we'll do is we can just top that up, probably put about another half litre to a litre in it. Should see it fill up alright. What I like to do though is I like to run a little bit more stabiliser in it. So what I'll do is I'll use half a litre more of stabiliser just to top that up a little bit, and have that as the top up. So whenever I top up my engine oil, not that I really have to, is I'll usually use the stabiliser over engine oil. You can use either or, but righto, so vehicle's running pretty well. Yeah, so vehicle's running pretty well. That is the engine serviced. Obviously we haven't done gearbox, differentials, or transfer case, but tend to do oil and filters every 5,000 kilometers. Transfer, gearbox, and other stuff like that I tend to do probably every 20 to 25. When it comes to fuel filter I'll do every 10, unless I've been doing water crossings and other stuff, then I'll just change it at every interval, along with the oil. But yeah, I think if you stick to 5,000 for engine oil, fuel filter every 10, along with your air filter every 10, unless you've been going like doing dusty stuff and dirty roads, every 10,000 k's for that stuff's sort of fine. You can take it out and you can clean it and have a look at it, see how it's sort of going. Gearbox transfer and differentials, like if you're doing water crossings and stuff, I'd probably just change it after doing that with your service intervals, given that you don't have diff breathers. So if you've got diff breathers, it's very important to, if you don't have diff breathers, it's very important to make sure that you're not doing river crossings as much as you can, or limit it until you get diff breathers, because water gets in there and it destroys your components, destroys your seals and everything else in there, that keeps all your oil away from your bearings and grease and everything that way. So it's always a good thing to do, is install some diff breathers, good quality diff breathers. I think Superior offer diff breather kits, and other models. There's plenty of other models out there that offer diff breather kits, so that's probably the route that I would go. As far as mounting them goes, I know a lot of guys run 2 snorkels, and they'll run their diff breathers, gearbox breathers, and breathers and everything all through the extra snorkel, so it gets it up nice and high. Other than that, you can run them just in your engine bay, which is fine. However, remembering that if your bonnet goes underwater, your diff breathers are underwater, so they're sucking water in. So something to think about, and something to consider when you're mounting it. You can also, if you wanted to, you could run them up behind your cab or on your tray, up in your headboard, and just extend the lines up that high, so you never ever have to worry about that sort of setup ever again. Destroying diffs and stuff due to water getting in that way. Not that I don't think it'll really destroy your diff, but it can cause extra heat and everything getting in there, because water's in there, extra pressure blows out all your seals, and then everything goes dry and turns into sludge in your diffs and gearbox and transfer case. So you want to keep that as clean and as nice as you can in there for the longevity of the vehicle. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. It's been great making this video. If you have any questions, feel free just to drop them down below. Just got to give a massive shout out to the guys at Filter Wash. No, they don't sponsor me, and they don't give me any sort of discount or anything, but they're just great local people. So if you're in the Mackay area, drop in and see them. They're 3 generations of having the shop in Mackay. And just fantastic people, lovely people. So if we can continue to support the community, the small business community, get out there and look after each other, then it'll be really good to see those guys, the small businesses, grow up and be a lot bigger, and they can offer more support to more locals like us and everyone else around in the community area.